AATBirds Weekly Report is the Eagle news, notes, and analysis you need. All about the birds, all birds, all the time.
And welcome, everybody. 99 days until the Philadelphia Eagles kick off with the Dallas Cowboys. I wanted to throw that out there, doing my usual annual countdown. We had 99 today, which was, of course, a Jerome Brown highlight clip. 98 tomorrow, so we'll see what that is. It is a player wearing 98, but it isn't the player you're thinking about. But with that, Chip,
okay.
I got a fun little show plan here. So it's going to be, in terms of like game showy, it's maybe a little bit of that and a little bit of put your thinking cap on with Eagles history.
What is stretching for off-season material?
It's what it's all about. Come on. It's fun, get your mind going, thinking about things you don't usually think about.
I answered in the form of a question, though, so therefore I win.
No, not with this kind of game. So essentially the first game is before we do that, I want to talk a tiny bit Eagles stuff before we get to the games that we're playing here. A couple things. So the OTAs begin, voluntary OTAs. Few players not in attendance. Of course, it's voluntary, not mandatory. June 10th, I believe, is the mandatory, and then I believe they're off until July. But right now they have a couple days this week, couple days next week of some OTA stuff. Cooper DeJean getting some looks on the outside corner, so some interesting stuff there. But one thing I saw that I absolutely loved was, I don't know if you happen to catch it, in the practice bubble, they have a beautiful, beautiful looking, if you want to say, mural of the 2017 and the 2024 Super Bowl champions, and dead smack dab in the middle is the two Super Bowl trophies. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely wonderful to see. So I thought that was awesome. I think that was like the takeaway of the day, is seeing the mural there. And of course, in the NovaCare, they have, a wall set up, all the stuff that they're adding. But the other thing I wanted to bring up is we still have to look forward to the ring ceremony, what that looks like, because, again, that's fun. Also, we have to look forward to the America's Game, which will come out just before the season. I was just watching the 2017 one when, of course, they had, Wentz, Foles, LeGarrette Blount, and Brandon Graham on talking. Who do you think would be the four people you would choose to talk? Who would be the four guys that are going to speak for the America's Game, do you think, for the Philadelphia Eagles? Now, coaches can be included. I believe there's been some that have coaches, but I think they're usually around four players or four people that come on. Who would you choose as the Eagles four?
And they got to be current, right?
Well, they have to be who played on the team. Who played on that 2024 Super Bowl team is going to be not narrating, but talking about the season. What four guys? I have four guys in mind.
I honestly, just because he's so quotable, Sirianni is going to be one.
Okay, Sirianni.
As much as he's the leader of the team, he doesn't necessarily give off super excitement vibes. So I would actually pass on Jalen Hurts. I think he's going to be a lock. He's going to be, because he's the quarterback of the team. But I would personally pass on him for that. So I go Sirianni. I would go Saquon.
Okay.
Come on,
you're missing a key guy.
I really wish Kelsey was still on the team, but he's not.
No, can't go Kelsey.
I know, but I want to. I mean, I would put Jordan Mailata on just because of the accent.
Okay.
And then there's so many players that have left the team that I would love to like. I would love to hear CJ GJ's take on the past season, but he's not on the team anymore.
It's good. It's not going to be a current player. It's going to be a player who played on that team. So
I know, but I don't want him speaking on the Eagles.
yeah, but you're missing the guy who just retired.
Oh, yeah. Well, Brandon Graham's a no-brainer.
So there's your 4.
Yeah.
Sirianni,
Mailata, Barkley, and Graham.
Okay. I could see that. Brandon Graham, definitely. I think Jalen will be on there. I think
I do too. I'm just saying that he's not the most exciting speaker.
Yeah. When you look at it, it's hard to think of some of the guys that had left, like a Darius Slay and something like certain players, like you have some name, but Brandon Graham, I believe, is one. Jalen Hurts is one. Saquon. And then I would like maybe Lane. Maybe they give it to Lane, let him talk. If not, then I'm thinking Nick Sirianni. So we're kind of around the same boat when, thinking about that. But that's just something I thought about. So now getting into as you could see, the Eagles' best and worst block chart. It was kind of hard to name what it is, but it is a block chart. I saw it on X, a Twitter user, Jamal is his first name. He posted it, a blank one. And I thought, that's a great off-season exercise. I think that's what we're going to call it, Chip. These are off-season exercises. We're working our mind here when there isn't much going on. But so I did one, and then we'll discuss it in terms of there's going to be players that we can put in, multiple players here. This is the players that I chose. I know you may have some different ones, but this is what we're going to go with. So the chart itself is, if you've seen them, it's at the top, it has 3 rows, and then on the side, it has 3 rows. So the top, it says great player, average player, and bad player. And then on the sides, it had loved by fans, fans are divided, and hated by fans. So then you have those rows, and you got to match up the average player with the loved by fans, the great player with the fans are divided, the great player hated by fans, average player hated, and vice versa. So we have there. Here we go. So this is what I did, and I'm gonna blow this up so we only see part of it. So when we look at, it's way too blown up. Okay. All right. Just going to go here. All right. So kind of see a little bit of it here, but I'll just break it down here. So the great player loved by fans, I had Brian Dawkins. Now, again, it can go multiple ways there. But I feel like that's a no-brainer. B-Doc was a great player, Hall of Famer, and he's loved by fans. So to me, I don't think anything, the way you kind of look at it is Brian Dawkins is kind of like what kind of Allen Iverson is for the Sixers. Like, he's a great player and he's loved by the fans. Like, they may have not have brought a championship to the city, but they played, every single second. They put 100% into it. So that, to me, I think that was one of the easiest ones.
See, I'm going to, again, and I am a gargantuan Brian Dawkins fan. I think that I'm absolutely going Jason Kelce for the same reasons that you just said, because he did bring a championship, and not for nothing, and I know it's not Dawkins' fault, Dawkins did not play his entire career in Philadelphia. Jason Kelce did.
Yeah, I get that, but again, I knew we were gonna have different ones, and I knew Jason Kelce.
So when you look again, and I have no issue with Dawkins being in that spot, but when you look at, I know it is a hot button issue with you of retiring numbers. And again, my qualifications are you have to be in the NFL Hall of Fame. And I really do think that you should play your entire career. Now, you can't control where you're drafted, but if you sign a contract elsewhere toward the end of your career, that says something to me as well. Or, you get traded or whatever. I mean, it is what it is. But Jason Kelce is the face of the Philadelphia Eagles and a championship winning center and a Hall of Fame player. I think Dawkins has got to. Dawkins is great. Dawkins is a great pick. But he, to me, is second to Kelce.
I get it. I get where you're going with it. I understand that. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely understand that. But the way that I see it, it's just, I don't know. He's loved by fans. It's to me, it's an easy. But again, I get it. And again, there's going to be plenty of differences when you look at some of this, like this chart here. So the next one, the average player and loved by fans, I got Nick Foles. Like, I know Nick Foles had a hell of a postseason, won a Super Bowl MVP for the Philadelphia Eagles. But case in point, he wasn't a great player. He was an average player. He was a good player, an average player. But listen, he brought the first Super Bowl. He was a Super Bowl MVP. He's loved. So, to me, that was another easier one. So what do you think there? You think that's a good one?
I have no objection to that one at all. I think that is completely spot on.
Okay, the next one. Bad player and loved by fans. I got Corey Detmer. Come on. Corey Detmer wasn't the best quarterback. We know that. Wasn't very good. But you can't say they didn't hate him. They loved him, his dance and everything. You always see it on the timeline every once in a while. You see his little slap dance. But to me, I think that one was a hard one. I think a bad player.
Because Corey Detmer to me is, like, again, another player that I like, and I agree with your point. I think he's just such a blip on the radar of Philadelphia Eagles history that there has to be a better one out there.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think, Corey, I think, is an easier one. He did play. He didn't play, but he was, on the team for a long time, but he was mostly the holder. But it's kind of hard to think. You could always go. It's funny. I was thinking about this too. Another backup quarterback or a former quarterback for the Eagles you could put on there, but the reason he's loved is different. Not on the field playing wise would be Doug Peterson. He was a bad player especially with the Eagles. He wasn't very good. He's a bad player, and he's loved by fans. He's loved by fans.
He's not loved by fans.
I think everything, you think about it, people aren't going to say anything really that bad about him. Like, I understand the way everything ended, but
they're not going to say anything at all about him. Why? Because he kept the seat warm until McNabb was ready.
But I'm talking he would be loved by fans because he brought a Super Bowl as a head coach, not as a player.
No, he's not. And it was evidenced by the fact that nobody cried any tears when they fired him a couple of years later.
To me, I think you can't come up with a better one. So that's why I went.
Again, I'm okay with the Corey Detmer one. I feel like there's got to be a better one. I just think that he's kind of a blip on the radar.
Now, the next ones are pretty good. So, great player and fans are divided. I'm Jalen Hurts. You still have some people saying, oh, well, the team's so great and everything. It maybe has cooled a little bit since they won the Super Bowl, but it still is out there. So that's why I have him there. An average player and fans are divided. I have Jalen Mills. Some people love him, like me. Some people
you are obsessed with Jalen. This is basically just becoming a Jalen Mills fan account.
But listen, you can't tell me that's not a good pick. An average player, and fans are divided. Some people hate him. Some people love him. You got to admit that's a pretty good one.
Again, I look at a guy like, Ricky Waters. Ricky Waters is a Philadelphia Eagle.
Yeah, but he's not an average player. He had over 10,000 rushing yards. He's not an average player.
But again, he also had a bigger part of his career in San Francisco.
Yeah, I get that. But again, playing with the Eagles, he was a 2-time Pro Bowler, 1,000 yards each season. So it's not like he was a bad player. He wasn't an average player. Then the bad player and fans are divided. I'm not sure why I put Reno Mahe. I really don't.
Mahe.
Yeah, I really don't remember why I did that. Maybe because I really don't hear too much. I know some fans make fun, I guess, of his recent legal troubles that he's had. I remember he was doesn't he arrested for siphoning gasoline out of someone's car or something recently, like a few years ago. But I don't know. I don't know why I picked that one. Again, that one's kind of hard too. A bad player and the fans are divided. I'm not really sure. Like this,
you're too nice. It's because you're too nice.
Who would you put there? Who are fans divided? Who stinks? It's not as easy as you think there.
I mean, I think, okay, ready? I'm going to throw one out there he's a bad player, but some people did like him because of the success the team had when he was there. James Thrash.
But are fans divided? A lot of people call him trash.
Correct. But again, other people value what he did as a member of the organization, which was
what about this one? You know what? I just thought of one. Freddie Mitchell.
Oh, Fred X is easy.
I just thought of that one.
I don't think he's a bad player, though.
He was
I won't say he's good.
He underwhelmed. You know, his draft, and again, I know there was. To me, I think Freddie Mitchell is a player that played in the wrong era. If he played in the era back in the like 2010s into the 2020s, where the slot receiver was a focal point, and you played three receivers almost all the time, and I think he would have had more success that way. The Eagles were just a different team. They were a running team, fullback, 2 tight end sets. Like they didn't play a whole heck of a lot. But that's one. Now the last one, I feel like that was one of the easiest. If you take a look, so we have great player, hated by fans. I have McNabb.
Yeah. McNabb or Wentz, take your pick.
Yeah, and I think McNabb, because of the track record's a lot longer in terms of what he did. 5 NFC championship games, went to a Super Bowl, multi-time Pro Bowler, has some Eagles records. One of the best quarterbacks in the history of the franchise. But again, you have a lot of people that don't like him per se because of the choking aspect and not getting it done, and the whole
losing a Super Bowl and being so vocal about it.
So you have that. So I think that was a really good one. An average player, fans hate him, Kiko Alonso. And I think a lot of the people...
Awful pick.
What do you mean awful pick? In terms of...
Kiko Alonso was not an average player.
He was an average player.
And Kiko Alonso will be remembered for being what they traded LaShawn McCoy for.
I know. That's why he's hated by fans. And he's an average player. That's why he's hated by fans.
He was not an average player. He was terrible.
I wouldn't say he was terrible. He was average. He wasn't a horrible player. He was average. That's what average is. And then, of course,
I would go with a guy like Nate Geary, who led the team in tackles.
No, don't even. No. Nate Geary is not average.
He's not terrible. Bad. Nate Geary was a better player, except in coverage, than Kiko Alonso ever was.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. No, there is no way. I'll tell you this right now. I will even put money on it that if you put Kiko Alonso or Nate Geary, who would you rather have as a linebacker on your team? Nate Geary would lose that every single time. I think that is a question that we need to pose, because I think that is absolutely, you make no sense there. You make no sense.
Or I'm thinking of the wrong linebacker. What's our other white linebacker who then went to Washington?
You think about Alex Singleton?
That's who I meant.
Okay. I would say they were close.
Alex Singleton. Nate Geary did suck.
Yeah. Nate Geary, remember
Alex Singleton led the team in tackles.
Yeah.
But he was not a good player by any means.
He was him and Kiko, maybe they're close in terms of similarities there. But yeah,
there you go. I'm gonna put God, I already forgot his name again.
You can't put Alex Singleton there. He's not hated by fans.
I'm gonna put Alex Singleton in my Jalen Mills spot.
Okay. And again, that would be a good one. And then of course, bad player, hated by fans, Jalen Reagor.
Jalen Reagor all day, every day, twice on Sunday, where he drop a ball.
Listen, I thought that was good. Yeah, trying to think. Like, would you put a Danny Watkins there? Would you consider him hated by fans? I really no.
No, he's a nothing to fans.
Yeah. So like, I wasn't putting that. Like Rager was boom, jump right off the screen for me when you take a look at that. Now, again, you
If
could
you want
also
to talk Eagles career, you can
go-
talk about, players that we've received from the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, I was thinking something else. A Byron Maxwell.
Byron Maxwell as an Eagle, Nnamdi Asomugha, DeMarco Murray.
Yeah.
He was a terrible Eagle.
It's funny. I was just looking, like, the top 100 players. The NFL Network does that, top 100. In 2015, DeMarco Murray was the 4th player.
And then we got him, and he pooped the bed.
I couldn't believe they got him. I was just like, of course, some of those big free agent signings back in the late teen, like the early 2010s into the middle to later 2010s.
Right, where they tried to get good players.
Yeah. Tried to and failed miserably. So
that's where you can include, hated by fans, Vince Young. Why is he hated by fans? Because of the Dream Team comments.
Yeah, absolutely right with that.
Great player, hated by fans. Or no, you know what? Great player. Fans are divided. Michael Vick.
I could see that. That would be a decent one too, just because
that's
of
a great one.
So that's a pretty good one. So
bad player, hated by fans, Kevin Cobb.
They're
now again, he's a blip. He's a blip on the radar.
Yeah.
He's a complete blip on the radar these days. But again.
Yeah. No, I understand that. Okay. Now it comes to a game that's actually going to be fun. Well, maybe fun for me, maybe not so much fun for you. But it is not what colleges they went to. You don't have to worry about that. But it does involve the old something you love to use back.
I see it in the picture.
Yeah. The old wheel. And when we look at the wheel, it is a bunch of years. And why is it a bunch of years?
Because you have trivia questions about each year.
No, I wouldn't say trivia questions. What it is I have, it's a trivia question, and the fact is this. You are going to give me an Eagles player from the era that it gets clicked on. Okay? You need to give me a quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 receivers, and a tight end. Now, the quarterback or the players you choose, it's going to be in that era, it's going to be their highest total in terms of when they played in that era. A touchdown.
Total of what? Oh.
Touchdowns. And you have to reach 100 touchdowns. So you have to be thinking smart of guys who scored a lot of touchdowns. And you don't have to go in order. You can pick and choose where you want to go depending on where you fall in terms of this. Are you ready?
I'm sure.
That's not really come on, give me a little more.
It's not enthusiastic. Again, this is so again, I have to name players that scored a bunch in these eras.
Yes.
Neato.
So
what is stretching for material in the offseason? Ready, I'm going.
You need to reach real deep into your mind there and remember things.
Right, because I definitely remember 1933 to 1960.
Well, you should know some of the players. There's some pretty, Eagles Hall of Famers, stuff like that. But first spin, here we go. And it's going to land on. Okay. 1981 to 1990. So I don't know what position you want to go with or what you want to do in terms of that.
I mean, they weren't like a great offensive team during this time.
No, they were not a great offensive team. I think this needs some little bit of some drama. There we go.
I get 2 running backs
You get to pick 2 running backs.
over the course of multiple spins, right?
Yes. So they get to quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 receivers, and a tight end.
All right. I'm going to go Wilbur Montgomery here.
That is a very good pick.
I feel like that was still in the game than when football was a running sport. So I feel like that's going to be the best pick I can get there.
He played in Philly from 77 to 84. So you only get him from 81 to 84.
So the tail end of his okay.
And his highest touchdown total was 10. So Wilbur Montgomery, 10.
All right.
All righty. Next selection that you're going to have. A little more recent. I should help you a little bit here. 91 to 2000.
All right, so the quarterback position is out.
Yeah, I'm not sure you really want to pick a quarterback here. And it really,
I mean, I would say Randall, but again.
Well, the thing is, you miss Randall's MVP caliber season in 1990.
Yes,
with 91 to 2000.
So I really, really started following the Eagles in 98. Like that's when I officially locked in as a fan as like a 12-year-old.
You're going to have to think about some positions and some players potentially who played with them from 91 to 2000, or pick a player that had a good season in 2000 for the Eagles. Or 99, which really wasn't much. 98, which nobody had a good season. But you also have to remember.
What, for the second time today, Ricky Waters.
Okay. You're going running backs early here.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you're supposed to do in your fantasy draft, so might as well.
This is your fantasy draft here. So I would say good selection. 1996, he had 13 touchdowns.
There you go.
So Ricky Waters, 13.
So I'm at 23 so far.
Yes. Ooh. 2011 to 2020. So very recent here for you. Tough, isn't it?
No, because I'm trying to.
Well, you use your running back spots, and you can't use.
No, you know what? I'm using my quarterback spot. Carson Wentz.
Hey,
you got a Super Bowl MVP year, like the Super Bowl MVP caliber year. Yep.
So right there gives you. Let me just make sure here. You're going Carson Wentz. It's crazy. He had 0 rushing touchdowns in 2017.
Oh,
33
total.
He
should have gotten. He kind of blew his ACL out. So
yeah. So 33 on that one. That's a good selection there. Carson Wentz, 33.
I'm halfway there. I'm like Bon Jovi.
Uh-oh.
Now I got to get into wide receiver territory, and there's no way here.
Well, I'll throw out some names for you. You got Pete Pihos, Tommy McDonald. You have Pete Retzlaff. So there are some names in terms of players.
McDonald was what, a tight end? No.
Wide receiver. Retzlaff and Pihos were tight ends.
In a time where tight ends really didn't have any kind of say in the world.
Maybe. Both are Hall of Famers.
I know. Give me Pihos.
Well, should have went. Never mind.
Then go with the other tight end. Again.
Ed Pihos.
Sure.
So Pete Pihos, 10. Actually, no, 11. Sorry. 1948,
Hey, all right.
11. It's 61 career receiving touchdowns.
Could have been worse.
It's crazy. You look at the NFL back in the 50s. He led the league 3 straight years before he retired with catches, and they were 63, 60, and 62. So it shows you how much they threw the ball. So we had 11 touchdowns for Pete Pihos. Your next selection. So now you have.
Now it's going to be wide receivers.
Just wide outs.
All right.
71-80.
I mean, do I get Carmichael here, right?
I think that'd be the option to go here.
Yeah.
Harold Carmichael, 11.
I'd say that was his best season.
Yeah. 11. So let's spin the wheel.
I'm in like the 70s right now, right?
I will do the calculations then. I'm not keeping track. Oh, here you go. This will help you. 21-24. I know it's a short span, but there are some good players that you can choose from.
I mean, I think I'm going to have to go A.J. Brown.
Yeah, I think A.J. Brown would. I was going to say, you don't want to go like Devontae. A.J. would be the pick for you. So A.J. Brown, 11.
Okay. It's going to be tight.
I'm
kind of doing the math as we went along. I think I'm in the mid to high 80s right now.
Well, I will let you know what your score is so you can then have your last selection. Hopefully, it's going to help you that it gets a year that you can get somebody with a big total.
So wide receiver went absolutely bananas?
Yeah, you need a wide receiver that went absolutely nuts.
Right. I need T.O. or Deshaun Jackson.
You were at 89.
I told you mid to high 80s. So I need a T.O. year or a Deshaun Jackson year. Here we go.
And here's the spin. Oh! 01-10.
And that was pre-T.O., correct?
T.O. was 04 and 05. Deshaun Jackson was T.O. Terrell Owens in 2004 had 14 touchdowns.
Look at me. Winning your little shenanigan game.
Oh, we're not done.
I got 100. What more do you want from me?
Now we go to the next one here. It is a quarterback, a running back, 2 receivers, and a tight end. Their careers. Not their Eagles careers, their careers. You have to total 500 touchdowns.
This is a whole nother show. What are we doing here?
No, we're doing both. This one should be a lot quicker because it's only a couple. And we are starting right now.
A quarterback, 2 running backs.
No, quarterback, you're a running back, 2 receivers, and a tight end. 01 to 10.
McNabb.
Oh, my God. I don't know. You should just pick the guy you just picked.
You said I needed 500. Oh, whoa. It includes their non.
Yeah, no, you picked McNabb.
No.
better hope
Hold on.
that
You weren't
comes
clear
up
on the
again.
rules. You weren't clear on the rules.
You didn't listen. I'm putting
Does it
McNabb.
include their non-Eagles years?
You would have listened to me. I said it's their careers, not just their Eagles careers.
Then I'm
You
going
picked
Theo.
McNabb.
Nope, I'm going
You're
Theo.
going McNabb.
I'm not playing the rest of
I
your
run
game,
the-
sir. You weren't clear.
I run the show. 234. Well, I think you have to add
I'm
his
almost
rushing
halfway there, so
touchdowns.
that's not bad.
Hold on. You have to add his rushing touchdowns. So you probably got more there.
All right, so there you go.
29.
Great pick by me.
263.
There you go. More than halfway on my first pick.
Look at that.
Even with your bogus, unclear rules.
You didn't listen. That's not my fault. That's your fault. You're a teacher. You should know that.
I'm a
91
teacher
to
in almost
2000.
June. I'm not going to listen to anything.
A player who played in 91 to 2000. You only have running back, 2 receivers, and a tight end.
Chris Carter, does he qualify?
Chris Carter. He only played with the Eagles from 87 to 89.
Damn.
Who did not qualify. He had to have played in that time frame. You've got
Right,
some
I
guys
get that.
there.
It's just I didn't know the years for Carter.
Just reiterating it if somebody doesn't listen to the rules. There's one that's pretty obvious. Didn't play much, but he did play for them.
Towards the beginning of that or toward the end of that?
Towards the beginning of that.
Okay. I don't know.
You hear him every Sunday if you put that 94 WIP on.
Oh, Mike Quick, that's a good one.
My God, I might as well do this myself.
Yeah, well, I said I mean I got this is a whole other show.
Well, doesn't matter. You wouldn't have been prepared then. You're not prepared now. So, does it really matter? If you think about it, 61. So you're at 324 right now.
Okay.
Okay. It should be pretty attainable. Wow.
Come on, give me a little more.
Oh, 1933 to 1960. Running back, receiver, and tight end are left. At this point, most just pick the same guy you picked.
Yeah, put him on.
Pihos. Went to Indiana, by the way.
He sounds like his name went to Indiana.
61, same as Mike Quick. All righty. Next selection for you.
So what do I have left? I have a running back and 2
Receiver.
receivers.
1 receiver. Ooh. See, now you can get smart with this and real clever.
I'm about to. I
But
feel like I'm about to.
it is it's up to you now. So you pick between those. I know it's not a lot of years, but you just got to think.
But I can also go pre-Eagles here.
You can go any way you want. They had to have played for the Eagles. That's essentially the rules. You're at 385. You need 115. It's pretty tough if you think about it. Not as easy. But
No, because once the quarterback spot went bye-bye.
yeah.
I mean, I'm torn between 2 here.
It's a tough one.
And honestly, I think I'm going to try and be smarter than I should be here. I'm going to go, because I think he fit in with these ranges, Deshaun Jackson.
So for you, Deshaun Jackson played with the Eagles from 08 to 13 and from 19 to 20. He did not play in 21.
Oh,
So he is ineligible.
man.
Ineligible.
That would have been a good
58
one.
touchdowns come your way.
Okay.
Running back or a wide receiver?
Yeah, then I'm
All you
gonna
have right now.
hope here. I'm gonna go Saquon. I feel like it's not gonna help me much, but
All right. So Saquon, if you take a look at his touchdowns total, he would have 62. So Saquon gives you 62. Then you have a receiver left.
yeah, it's
I will
gonna
tell
need
you
to be
after-
Deshaun Jackson. So
We'll
let's see
tell you
what happens.
after
It's
who.
gonna need to be Deshaun Jackson or T.O. So let's see what happens.
Uh-oh. There you go.
Deshaun Jackson, it is.
John Jackson, 58. That's
it.
Yeah, 58.
Does that also include return touchdowns?
That's what I'm going to look at right now. Give me a second.
I mean, it's only gonna put him at like 60-some, but
Yeah, but it's all you need. You only needed 115. So 62 minus 115. 62 minus 115. You only need 53, so you got it anyway. The guy I was
Did I get
thinking
it?
of from 21 to 20. Here's one for you. That's a Julio Jones.
oh, that would have been a good one.
Still counts. 66 touchdowns.
But I
But
mean,
that's another one.
I was pretty close with Saquon and then Deshaun, so like I did okay.
62. And then his kick and punt returns 66. So he has the same amount as Julio in terms of total touchdowns. So it'd be 66. So it's
Okay.
a fun little brain teaser.
Did I get my 500
You got 500. I told you that.
on the dot? What'd I get?
No, not on the dot. You were over it by, I believe, 13. I think it was 513 total.
Dude,
So
your little game can kiss my
it's tough.
But-
You know, when you think about it, I think the toughest one's the 100 touchdowns because there isn't many Eagles. Like, there's no Eagles that had like a LaDainian Tomlinson 20 touchdowns. Like, you could go, Jalen because of the rushing touchdowns, but he only gives you like 34, 35, 36, 37. Like, there's no 40 or 50 touchdowns like other teams
Right.
have. So,
That's why McNabb was my clutch.
well, the 500 touchdowns, that's, you could either went McNabb or if you would have went Randall. Randall's another good one as well. But there's some,
Not
ones.
McNabb
Like-
numbers though.
like, listen, getting Pete Pihos with 61 is what puts you over the top.
At the
That's
tight end
not
position, yeah.
At the tight end position. Because when you look at the Eagles tight ends, Pihos, you have Keith Jackson, you have, Brent Selleck and Chad Lewis. Like no one, like 61 is pretty good for a tight end, especially in that era. So thought that was interesting. But I thought it was a fun game because you really got to think about it. But, we'll be back next week.
Yeah, next week you got to see if Matt Templin can get both of my scores beat. You got to write down my totals too.
I have everything here, so it'll all be here. You don't got to worry about it. You're all set with that. So we'll see how Matt does. But with that, as we always do, we end it with a very thank you to everybody. Make sure you're watching, subscribing, and we end it with 2 words. Go Birds!
Go Birds.
This is Matt Ware. Hey, for all the Eagle content you need, go follow All About the Birds. They do a damn thing. Check them out.
Hey Eagles fans, I may be in Tampa, but I know where to find the best Eagles content out there. Check out my friends at All About the Birds.
Philadelphia, what's up? This your boy Freddie Mitchell, aka Fred X. It's all about the bird.
All birds all the time. All birds all the time.
All About the Birds provides you with weekly analysis, game recaps, informative interviews, and it's all birds all the time.